So 70 hung municipalities across the country will be governed by coalition after political parties failed to secure decisive victories. According to the result released by the Independent Electoral Commission, there were clear winners in 143 of the 213 councils. The ANC saw its lowest local government results after it only secured 46.04% of the national tally. The DA came second with 21.84%, EFF 10.42%, IFP 5.7%, VF Plus coming fifth with 2.37%, pardon me. Now, the Independent Electoral Commission says it's received and cleared 290 objections after investigations and deliberations. Objections included anything from irregularities to or inaccuracies and counting of votes, the conduct of these election officials and issues with ballot papers. Political parties will only also have 7 days to approach the Electoral Court should they wish to lodge a complaint or appeal the final election results. Joining me now is Tselane, the Executive Chairman of the Institute of Election Management Services in Africa. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. 290 objections received and 213 are declared as final results, cleared. I mean, this process of clearing these numbers, what does it entail and how can it happen so fast?
Well, in terms of Electoral Act, the Commission is supposed to be finalizing all the objections before the results are announced. However, there is no such requirement for local government because Municipal Electoral Act, Section 65, only says that if there are people who want to raise issues pertaining to what they regard as objections material to the outcome of the results of the elections, they can do so. Now, when you look at the number of the objections that the IEC received in 2016, there were about 205. So the number that they have is actually slightly higher than last time. But that's how the Commission is supposed to be dealing with those before they announce the results of the elections.
Now, as an outsider, perhaps a former commissioner looking into the entire 2021 local government election process, it really took place in a very different climate compared to the 5 other previous elections that we've seen over the years. In fact, we heard IEC head Tselane speaking about how nobody in the world should attempt to have an election of this magnitude in such a short time frame. He spoke about 42 days not merely being enough. What's your take on this preparation process, especially considering the objections that we have seen and heard from various political parties and others?
Well, the truth of the matter is that the Commission had 5 years to prepare for these elections. Because the Section 159 of the Constitution says that the term of a municipal council is 5 years, and then that the elections must take place 90 days after the date of the last elections. So it is not as though the Commission was not working on preparations for these elections. However, one, of course, accepts the fact that the preparations were interrupted by quite a number of other issues. And then those issues naturally would have impact on their preparations.
As the IEC says it received and cleared 290 of these objections, I mean, does that essentially speak to some of the more difficult ones that Tselane spoke of, saying that, while the time frame is dangerous, it may lead to disputes which may be very difficult to resolve. Such one dispute that I'm thinking of is one of the UDM, that the UDM was unhappy with thousands of people being denied access. They even mentioned words like sabotage being what they believe may have happened here. And the UDM also spoke about, the representation at commissioners' level, saying that many of those representatives were, in fact, ANC members. Is there some sort of, something to leverage off here and relevance when it comes to the position of the UDM?
Well, I don't know the details as such. However, A few years back, in Mbabezane, in KwaZulu-Natal, the ANC took the commission, in fact, raised an objection with the commission, wanting the commission to nullify the results on the results of the election, on the basis that they were intimidated, and they had affidavits to prove that their members were prevented from going to to vote in particular voting stations. At first, the Electoral Commission decided not to really attend to that particular issue, and until such time that it was too late, and the ANC took this matter to the Electoral Court, and the results of those by-elections were nullified on the basis of intimidation that had occurred in that area. So it depends whether General Rumisa would have sufficient evidence to be able to show that indeed their supporters were prevented from voting in those respective areas.
And what about the legitimate or none thereof of a concern that the representation at a commissioner's level entails and involves a lot of ANC members? Is there substance to that?
No, you know, one always gets this kind of thing when people try to find some...
Okay. It looks like we have lost...
yeah, I don't... I mean, who is a member of the ANC, but if they feel that they've got sufficient information to be able to prove that
Okay, unfortunately, the quality of that link not sounding so good. We do apologize for that. Terry Tselane, Executive Chairman, Institute of Election Management Services in Africa, is also a former Commissioner of the IEC.